Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show. Man, wow. That was a press conference yesterday by Todd Bowles that left many mouths agape, if you know what I'm saying. A lot of grizzled veterans in the media business, and not only the ones that were there, but the ones across the nation, are just at a loss of what this team has become here in Tampa Bay. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show. We are brought to you by Emerging Investigations, Emerging INV, the best private investigation agency in all of Tampa Bay. Also by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. My partner here, Nick Geddes, I was texting you after the press conference, and I was aghast that even after 24 hours, Todd Bowles can stand up there and double down on some of the worst decisions I think I've ever seen in clutch time by an NFL coach. And then, of course, I watched Jeff Saturday last night just not do anything late in the game. Like, what are these guys getting paid for? I mean, this is on basically your number one job as a head coach is to what? It's to win games. All right. It's to win football games. When is the most crucial time for NFL games? When it's the final 2 minutes. Almost every game comes down to the final 2 minutes. And if you cannot perform, I've often said this about head coaches. If you cannot perform on game day, that is, to me, in the NFL, the two most important performances on game day are your quarterback and your coaching staff, and of course your head coach obviously represents everything about what that is. And Todd Bowles not only missed the mark on game day, which happens. You get involved in the emotion of the game. There's a clock in this game, and there's a lot going on. And I can understand making bad calls in the moment. I mean, that's just going to happen. But to have 24 hours to go over it and double down is completely mystifying to me. Geddes, good morning.
Good morning. After being a fan of this team for my entire life, really, I mean, nothing should honestly surprise me at this point. I think we've heard it all. We've had some head coaches that have gotten up there on the podium and said some really probably idiotic things, asinine things. And yesterday was one of those moments where, again, you just kind of look up to the heavens and all you can do is laugh.
Yeah.
All you can do is really laugh. You can't I mean, don't get me wrong. I am angry about it, but at some point it's like, is it exhausted energy to keep getting angry? This is just what this coaching staff is.
And, to some degree, I said to some degree, I was very verbose about this the last couple of weeks, that I saw positive things happening with this team. And, we did not get crazy about the Rams win. We understood that the Rams win was something I thought that you started to see some signs of the team playing better. Brady was playing better. He was making better reads. He was more confident. He was getting better protection. Now, it was Cooper Kupp and many other moments late in that game, bad clock management and game management by the Rams, Sean McVay. Every coach does it, okay? It's not just Todd Bowles, by the way. That was, you go back and let's criticize Sean McVay, who's the boy wonder. All right, it happens. But I can guarantee you Sean McVay was not doubling down the day after on the Cooper Kupp situation. That was a mistake. That was a huge mistake that they made. And it cost them the football game, no question about it. But for Todd Bowles to come back on day two and double down on this is just mystifying on so many levels. But it shows me why I was wrong. When I thought this team had turned the corner, I was still hopeful that this was a coaching staff that could perform on game day and manage a clock and call plays offensively in sequence that made your team better. And this is a bottom line league. And at this point in the season, 11 games in, you are what your record says you are. You are what your offensive statistics say you are. You are everything that you are. There are no injury situations in this case where you can say dramatically. Now there is with Tristan Wirfs out. Wait till you see how bad this offense is now. You think it's bad now? You wait to see how bad it is with Tristan Wirfs being out. The ball will come out so quickly, and we'll get into that later on. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but this coaching staff cannot do a very good job offensively, especially, of making adjustments during a game. And even defensively, when you go back and look at the tape, there were a lot of mistakes that they made in overtime and in the fourth quarter that cost them the game. And this coaching staff is just not a modern day NFL coaching staff in terms of how they view the game. And again, I go back to my tweet in the fourth quarter when on 4th and 2, you send Tom Brady out there to do the let's draw him offsides, high school play, instead of using the greatest quarterback in history to get you 2 yards, which should be your best play in your bag, by the way. You should have let's run that play now that we've been working on for 2 weeks on this off week that we know is going to work against this personnel in Cleveland to get that 4th and 2 in a clutch situation. That is the essence of coaching on game day in winning close games. You get a matchup that you love. Oh, I don't know, Njoku on Devin White on 4th and 10 going down the middle. You don't think that they were holding that play or maybe knew that play in that situation was going to be their best bet because it's a great matchup for them? Yes, and guess what? It worked and won the game or tied the game. Okay, you should have your 4th and 2 play ready to go. That is this play that we know we're going to scheme it up. It's the tight end coming out, blocking down, going out the back door that we know is going to work against this particular player who every time takes the bait on the run play away. Same thing they do to Devin White every game. Same thing they do to Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Same thing you can watch. You can see the matchup, the reverse. Oh, they were going to run this reverse because number 9 crashes down every single time and it's going to be wide open. The linebackers flow. Let's do it. And they score a touchdown in the first quarter. This is the essence of coaching. When do you see the Bucs do that? It's rare. They have done it. The K-Dot and play for the touchdown against the Rams. That was a great play call. They have done it in sequence, but 95% of the time, you don't do it. This is an offense that was ranked first or second for the last 2 years. I know there's different personnel. Every team has different personnel each and every year. It's up to the coaching staff to coach around it. The core of this team is still intact. You still have the quarterback. You still have all the receivers. You have a better time. And these personnel decisions that they've made all year long that have been wrong. Leonard Fournette instead of Rashad White. Gedeke instead of Nick Leverett. Okay, these are all coaching decisions that make a huge difference. And again, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. When you see the outward manifestation of not being a good coaching staff, when you're making repeated game management blunders, it's obvious for everyone to see. Now you got to ask yourself, what's under the iceberg? What's under the water, the iceberg underneath, like in preparation? And this is a main point I wanted to make today. What is the big difference between that last 2 years and this year? Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is not there. And what has Bruce Arians done with Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich? He was the adult in the room. And he would go in with the red pen and say, no, this doesn't sequence with this. This doesn't sequence as that. I've been doing this for 35 years. I can help you guys out here. Tom Brady knows a lot. He doesn't know everything. And you need other eyes to be able to tell you that doesn't work or that's not going to work in sequence. And that's where we are. That is why this team is scoring 17 points a game. And Tom Brady has a lot of say in what's going on here. And it was a great check and balance when Bruce Arians was there to call Tom Brady out. He was the adult in the room. He had the gravitas to be able to say, no, we're not going to do that, Tom. We're not going to run this trick play here in Germany right now just because you want to catch a pass in Germany. We're not going to do that. That's going and that's what's missing from this offense. Do you think Bruce Arians doesn't go for it on 4th and 2 at the 37 when you need just one more score and you have Tom Brady? You think Bruce Arians is not calling timeout when they have the ball on 4th and 10 to give Tom Brady a minute and 3 timeouts to work with and go down the field just to get a field goal? That's a layup, bro. It's a layup.
It's not even just Bruce Arians. I think that every head coach in the National Football League, for the most part,
absolutely
is not even thinking twice about that play.
Well, in 1995, you didn't take timeouts on defense.
And I'm even going back to it, too.
We do now.
I'm even going back to it as well. I watched the TV copy again yesterday a little bit. And even though Jonathan Vilma said some outrageous things during this game.
Clueless.
What's interesting is the one thing he got right was when that play was going on, he's like, oh, they're going to call a play here. And you could see it right there. Leftwich is like, yeah, I've checked this with Bowles. We're going to run a play. Let's go. And that's what he said. And then he's like, oh, maybe they might just kick a field goal instead. Not once in his mind did it even cross that they're probably going to punt this football.
Right.
Not once, or go up there to try to get an offside. That wasn't even in his mind, and he looked like the most unintelligent person watching the game during that.
Mhm.
And even he never thought they were going to punt that football. Nobody thought they were going to punt
then
that
I
football.
think no, that was the time. I think it was the play-by-play guy that said that, and then Vilma came in and said, "Oh no, I'll tell you what's going on here. He thinks his defense is playing great. They're going to punt the football and just give it to the."
Well,
defense.
that came after he did the
decision. Okay,
the decision,
which makes no sense either. Because if you have Tom Brady in this 4th and 2, and you have confidence in your defense, then you're going to you make that play on 4th and 2, you win the game. You win the game because you go up to you don't win the game. My bad. You're going up 2 scores. If you really think about it from a defensive standpoint, now they got to get 2 scores against your defense, not 1 but 2.
Yep.
Todd Bowles, why would you not take the opportunity? Like just from a analytics standpoint, for just average quarterbacks, 4th and 2 in that situation, I think is like a 65% win rate. It's got to go up to 95% if you have Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Julio Jones and Cade Otton and Rashad White. You've got really, really good offensive football players. You got to get 2 yards, and you should have a play. And this is coaching as well. You should have a play that you know damn well there's a 95% chance that we're gonna win on this down.
Yep.
And you were scared. You had Tom Brady, and you were scared to not get 4th and 2, and you were scared to not give Tom Brady, which we're going to get to now when we play these sound bites. I mean, this is just and again, I love Todd Bowles as a human, and I think he's a great defensive coordinator. But there is something grotesquely wrong with the communication, the game planning, and the execution on game day of this offense. It is ridiculously bad. I think you said it yesterday. The Texans are the only team that have scored less touchdowns than the Buccaneers.
Or they've scored. I don't know if they've scored. If they've scored only the least, but they know that the Texans have only scored 1 less touchdown than the Bucs.
1 less touchdown.
That's
than
it.
the Bucs.
Yeah.
The Texans have scored 1 less touchdown than the Bucs. Think about that. That's coaching. Look at the personnel in those 2 teams. Look at the personnel. And you don't have to go too far back. The last 2 years, this is the best offense in the league. So we're not even asking for you to be the best offensive. If you're just average with this defense, you've got 3 more wins.
Yeah. I think if Bruce Arians is the head coach, and I know you could play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game all you want, but I think the Bucs would be an 8-3 football team with Bruce Arians as the head coach.
No question.
Because I think these decisions that Todd Bowles, or the lack of making the right decisions rather, is directly contributing to about 3 of the 4 losses that they've had. Yes. 3 or 4 losses.
Absolutely. And in this league, in this day and age, when the rules are set up for the offense to score, if you think you're going to win a 17-10 game with 12 minutes left on the clock, and by the way, again, look at what's happening. That big offensive line of the Browns was wearing your ass down, was wearing your defense down. Your offense was going 3 and out, making your defense even more tired. And by the way, this is not a big, stout defense that's going to hold up for 4 quarters. You're a light defense. When you look at Joe Tryon, these are not big guys. Your 2 linebackers are not big guys. And that offensive line and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were wearing your ass down. Again, be cognizant of what's going on the football field. And that even with that, you're giving the ball back to them constantly and then running your defense out there that's getting worn down. All the more reason that you've got to keep the ball on offense. All the more reason. Your best defense is a good offense because guess what? They can't score if they don't have the ball. I mean, this is such elementary coaching. And again, to go 24 hours to think about it and know you're getting these questions, or at least you should know, and to have these responses, again, I love Todd Bowles as a human and defensive coordinator, but this is completely unacceptable.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. As we've been over this, it's about winning football games. And right now, he's not doing enough to put his team in the best opportunity to win a football game. And we'll play some of these sound bites here in a second, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how this can last much longer than the next.
Evidently nothing's going to happen.
No,
if it didn't happen after this game, if the Glazers didn't make a single
after
move
the next 6 games of the
anything,
season,
they're not going
after
to.
the next 6 games of the season and whatever the playoff scenario ends up being, I just don't see how this can last. I really don't see how this staff can last. And I mean, Todd Bowles has had 78 games as a head coach in this league. That's enough of a sample size for me to tell you who he is and what he's not.
If you're 78 games in and you're still making these mistakes, these aren't mistakes. This is your philosophy, and your philosophy is so antiquated it doesn't work in the NFL anymore.
And that's what I said.
It just doesn't.
That's what I said last night. It's like everybody's going to clown Jeff Saturday for making the same decisions or the same wrong decisions that Todd Bowles made. Well, you know what? That guy was an analyst 3 weeks ago. I expect that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not by any means like
still no excuse.
Still no excuse. But he's got a little bit more of a rope to go on than Todd Bowles does.
Yeah.
78 games.
Yeah.
And you still don't know clock management.
And it's philosophy. And it's his philosophy that has changed this team from an aggressive, offensive-minded team, which, by the way, what wins in this league, to a plotting, no risk, no biscuit, a team that you don't have the personnel for that. If you had a Ravens 2000 defense, you could maybe do that, but you don't have that defense, and you're set up to score points. That's where a lot of your money is. You got to score points. You got to try to score points. And again, this just tells me that so much of what they haven't been doing offensively is because this head coach is holding them back tremendously. And Tom Brady has way too much power, and people need to take it away from him and have better offensive game plans than what Brady is seeing. You use Brady's input, absolutely, 100%. But clearly not having the check and balance of Bruce Arians makes this offense score half the points that they scored last year. And that's the reason you're at where you're at. That's it. So let's back up what we just said here in our monologue with what happened yesterday in this, what is really a mind-boggling press conference. And I think, Scott Reynolds, by the way, is going to join us tomorrow. He's got a conflict today. And I think he said this on his podcast that, we've covered a lot of head coaches. And through the years, how many have we seen? Schiano, Cutter, Lovie Smith, Raheem Morris, Gruden, Tony Dungy. I've seen it all. And there's a moment where where this guy ain't got it. He ain't got it. He ain't getting it done. And unfortunately for me, that moment was yesterday, and I think Scott Reynolds as well. When you double down on basic knowledge of the game, because you're a defensive coach and this is who you are, you're telling everybody this is how I coach. And unfortunately, I saw it with Tony Dungy as well. And you just got to a point where you just knew with Tony, he wasn't going to make the necessary changes on offense to get them over the hump. He just wasn't going to do it. That's not the way he saw the game. And as the game is evolving into a point scoring game, and, he went to Indianapolis and got the job done because he's such a good coach and he's going to win 12, 13 games every year. And when you have a quarterback like Peyton Manning, like he never had in Tampa, it's going to take care of itself. They weren't able to get the quarterback in Tampa for him. They were not able to make the offensive changes. And that's why he was eventually fired and why he eventually won a Super Bowl and is a Hall of Fame coach. But Todd Bowles is not going to win a Super Bowl ever as a head coach because his mentality is not – his defensive mentality doesn't work in the modern game. It just doesn't. And unless they make dramatic changes in these last few games, which I don't see happening, this is going to be a waste of Tom Brady's last year.
Yep.
And you know why? Because Tom Brady didn't want Bruce Arians around.
Yeah. That's the thing here. I don't want to just absolve Tom Brady from all this because in the
end, this is not Todd Bowles'
the way you
fault.
could sum this up.
In the end, it's whoever allowed this coaching change to happen.
Yeah. And to me, it's
their fault.
There's been too much noise. There was way too much noise around this franchise in the offseason. I mean, we did a show every single week, Monday through Friday during the long 8 months offseason.
Yep.
And it felt like we had stuff to talk about off the field. I mean, just out we did, right? There was just so much noise going on and a lot of egos just at work here and a lot of people that can't get along. So honestly, when you put that all together, what were any of us thinking this team was a Super Bowl contender? They're 5-6, and it shows based on everything that came off the field with it.
Well, I think we all were fooled into thinking that with Tom Brady and the consistency of the coaching staff only changing one person in Bruce Arians, that the offense would stay the same.
Well,
with
we
Brady.
Underappreciated the importance of Bruce Arians, and that's why we told you when he retired that his name deserved to go up on that stadium and that he needed to get his just credit. He's a Hall of Fame coach. You can't replace a Hall of Fame coach.
You're absolutely 100% right. All right, let's get into the press conference for the ages yesterday. And again, I know this sounds very, very personal on Todd Bowles, and I don't mean it to be because, again, I really, really like Todd. but it's, he has declared who he is and what he is as a coach, and it is what it is. And it's my opinion. What do I know about football? I don't know as much as Todd Bowles, obviously, but it's my opinion that his mentality doesn't fit this team, and it doesn't fit the personnel, and it doesn't fit modern day football. So let's go through the press conference yesterday, and the questions are really, really good. By the way, hats off to Scott Reynolds and Greg Allman and Rick Stroud for getting to the, these are the questions I wanted to hear right after the game. Quite frankly, instead of, why is, how bad is it Tristan Wirfs hurt? Knowing that the coaches don't know, why are we keep asking these questions? All right. So what's the first one here we got?
Yeah, we'll go over here, the fourth quarter clock management here.
Or it could have been an interception as well. We said if we didn't get yardage on the first down on the first play, we wouldn't call timeout. We would probably let the clock run. If he saw something, he could throw it. But we didn't get any yards on the first play. We got 1 or 2 yards with Rashad, and we were backed up. So if we had threw a pick and the ball would have went the other way and they'd have kicked the winning field goal, we felt better going into overtime. So I didn't do it.
But he threw the ball on second.
He threw it on second down. He saw something. He got it in there. Then we called timeout. So could have easily went the other way.
Same way, and that's the same reason that one could have been intercepted, right?
Yeah, it could have been. It was a risky throw, but he got it in there. Tom's been making those throws, but
for 23
we felt
years.
Good going in the overtime, the way the defense was playing, and we thought we had it right there. So it's just a call we made.
Would it have made any sense? Again, I guess if you're going into overtime, you're going into overtime, but maybe you could have just taken a knee at that point with 32 seconds left. But after they got stopped on third down, they have one play to score, barring a penalty. Would it have made sense to call timeout after Delonte Davis stopped?
It could have been, but we didn't want them to talk about it, so we wanted them to just line up and play and go, so we let it go.
All right, so let's take the first one. And by the way, I asked this question yesterday. Why did Tom Brady not call timeout after Rashad White? Because he was told not to. So now you have the best quarterback that, I think I recall the Super Bowl. What was the score? 27-3?
28-3.
28
Yeah.
to 3. And so he's pretty good at the comeback. The greatest comeback ever. The greatest comebacks, 55 comebacks, more than any quarterback in the history of the game. Okay. He has an interception to touchdown ratio that is the lowest in the league. He's thrown
470 passes this year, which leads the league. And he also is first in the league in not throwing interceptions with 2.
And as Todd Casper said, Tom Brady has not thrown a single interception in the fourth quarter or OT of a tie game in over an entire decade. It's actually 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years.
12 years.
Okay, so you're playing the probability game here. And you still are saying you're not, and you didn't want them to talk about it. That was your reasoning for not calling timeout and saving a minute on the clock instead of 32 seconds. You have to anticipate that they're going to score on 4th and 10. You have to anticipate that. So what is your move? So you think it's a better advantage for them not to talk about a play. And by the way, Todd, maybe you don't understand this, but most other coaching staffs already have their great plays ready to go that they've practiced all week, or maybe for the 2 weeks of a bye week, they already know exactly what play they're going to run. So having time to, quote, talk about it is not really a big advantage in the NFL, maybe in high school and college or 1995, but not now. Okay. They know what play they're going to run. They're ready to go. So you gave up that for that advantage, you gave up giving Brady a minute 8 with 3 timeouts to go 40, 50 yards to get into field goal range. What are the chances of Tom Brady going, okay, say you get the touchback, you get the ball 20, 25-yard line, and you're ready to go, 20-yard line, and you're ready to go, and he's got 3 timeouts, or now you took the timeout, so now it's 2 timeouts in a minute 8 to go down the field against the 30th ranked scoring defense. What are the chances of that happening?
I think it's a little bit higher than the 0.04% probability that Tom Brady's going to throw an interception in that moment. Oh, and by the way, this isn't exactly the steel curtain of the 70s.
Exactly.
This is the defense that, count them, 3 interceptions on the year for the Cleveland Browns. 3. And if there's one thing the Bucs offense does fantastic, they don't give the ball away.
No,
they don't do it. And by the way, Tom Brady threw what, like 43, 45 times in this game?
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall one hitting a Browns player's hands.
Nope.
I don't.
Nope.
I don't. So
you can dink and dunk
what
for a minute 8. You can dink and dunk. They have to give you the dink and dunk.
I've seen it.
Don't.
I've seen it. They flashed the thing up there, 55 game-winning drives. We saw it 3 weeks ago. It's like now I'm getting angry talking about it because there's no logic here. You can tell me about I don't want to hear that crap. It's Tom Brady. This is not a rookie quarterback. Why are we acting like he's a rookie quarterback? And he's like, yeah, well, that was a risky throw. And, Tom's been making those throws. No shit, he's been making those throws. He's been doing it for 23 years, Todd. You played against him twice a year. Like,
think about it from that standpoint, Todd Bowles. You, as a defensive coach, and even with a good defense, do you want Tom Brady to have a minute 2, minute 8, whatever, and 2 timeouts, and all he needs is a field goal with a kicker who's been money from 50 in and has made a 54-yarder? Would you like to be? Which side would you want to be on in that situation? Would you rather be the Browns or the Bucs? If you're a betting man, would you rather be the Browns or the Bucs in that situation? The Bucs all day long. All day long.
Yeah, and to have trust in a defense, by the way, that just gave up the game-tying score, by the way, couldn't make a stand there. And it's not even really their fault. It's because you're putting so much pressure on them to have to make plays. Yeah. And as we keep saying, like a broken record, it is 2022. If you're putting all your faith in a defense, you are going nowhere. You are going nowhere in this league.
If you think you can win a game 17-10 in this league consistently.
You know who can do that? You know who can do it? Bill Belichick. And he ain't Bill Belichick.
No.
Sorry.
All right. This was the beginning of the end for me. When the Bucs drove the ball down to the 37-yard line, had 4th and 2 with 12 minutes left in the game. And again, you say your defense is playing well, but your defense is also getting tired, and they're running the ball at a pretty good clip. So he was asked about that situation.
Again, the defense was playing well. The offense wasn't playing it, moving the ball as well. So we tried to play the strength of our defense and get the ball back if we can back them up.
Do you trust your offense?
I do.
But you didn't trust them in that instance.
Well, I saw how the game was going. I trusted our defense to get the ball back, and I thought we can get the ball in good field position and still go down and get a score.
Now, this is not as dramatically wrong, but I think it also goes to the modern-day mentality. And again, I'll go to my favorite website now, Surrender, whatever it is.
No surrender.
And they literally have an analytic on what is the most cowardly punt of all time, and that's in the 98th percentile of the most cowardly punt of all time. Folks, you don't give up possessions. You don't give up possessions for 17 yards. And by the way, they made it up in one play. One handoff to Nick Chubb, I think it was, or maybe a screenplay. And they're right back to where you would have given them the ball had you gone for it on 4th and 2. And again, you have to have the play ready. Yeah. On 4th and 2, this is the play that we saw on film, and we got a guy who does the same thing every single time, the same thing that other teams do to us. This is the essence of coaching. What's your play? What's your 4th and 2 play? Let's see what you got. Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady, let's see what you got. And you know what you got? I'm going to draw them off sides. How freaking weak is that?
If you can't have trust in the greatest quarterback of all time to pick up 2 yards,
right?
When Scott asked him that question, do you trust your offense? No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You've shown it so many times this year. You don't. And by the way, for all this trust in this defense, and the defense has been playing really well. You want to know what they don't do?
Close games.
They don't close games, but you know what else? They don't take the ball away.
No, they don't.
They don't take the ball away. So all this trust in a defense that's going to get us the ball back, okay, that's required to them having to make stops and stop the other offense, which is really difficult to do over and over and over. They don't force turnovers. I'm not trying to put anything on the defense, but if you're going to have trust in a defense that doesn't get you the ball back via the turnover, you're hopeless. Yeah. You're putting your trust in something, and that's why your defense is out there for so long then, because they're having to hold, and they just couldn't do it anymore.
No. They couldn't do it anymore. And again, that whole scenario there of my defense. If you trust your defense so much, then why not take the chance on 4th and 2 with your best play that you've been working on for 2 weeks? You had a bye week. You have this. This should be an automatic. This should be an automatic where the guy is open by 8 to 10 yards, and all you got to do is flip it to him, and it's a first down. That's number one. You should have a play, okay? And you should have confidence in that play. You should have confidence in the quarterback, and you should have confidence in that situation. And you did not against a Browns team from the 37-yard line. If you have confidence in your defense, so what if you don't make it? You're at the 37-yard line. You have confidence in your defense? They still got to go. You're still up 7 points. What do you, I mean, that makes no sense.
Like I said, they treat this offense and they treat this quarterback like it's a rookie quarterback. That's what they do. They're treating Tom Brady.
You manage a game like you have a rookie quarterback.
That's embarrassing to me. That's embarrassing to me.
All right, this next one is he was asked, are the Bucs playing conservative on offense? And by the way, just because you chuck it a lot doesn't mean you're not conservative. Because if you're checking the ball down and running 17 wide receiver screens, those are just like running plays anyway. Those are not, it doesn't make your offense high risk if you're throwing it 45 times, if 40 of them are within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage.
I don't think we played conservative on offense at all. You can say that in hindsight about this game, but you don't think about those things as coaches. You make the best decision possible based on everything that's been going on, and you kind of go from there. We had not been moving the football. We had 9 3-and-outs, so it wouldn't have been wise to try to call that one. So I made it. I can live with that, and I'm okay with it.
He said that yesterday, or Saturday. Did the Bucs have 9 3-and-outs? Is there something I'm missing?
I had 6 or 7. They didn't have 9. It just seemed like it. I think if you add the end of halves, where they had 4 plays or 5 plays, then you might get to 9.
I'm just curious because I didn't think that they had 9. I didn't think it was that many.
9.
But just in general, though, he's talking about, in hindsight, you could say we played like it's not just exclusive to this game, Todd. It's not. How many more games do I need to go? Do I need to go back and look and tell you that you're playing conservative offense? You're not playing to win.
No,
you're playing. You're just trying not to lose.
Right.
You're trying not to lose, and you're a dead man. You're a dead man walking as a team when you do that.
100%. It's so obvious that this is the biggest difference between last year's team and this year's team. And it's because of a defensive-minded head coach that wants to win with defense.
Yeah, they just
when
got
you
no
have Tom
killer
Brady
instincts.
as a quarterback and all these weapons on offense, and you're trying to win with defense in an offensive league. It's set up to score points. You're fighting. You're completely swimming upstream with everyone, with your entire philosophy. You're swimming upstream. You're making it harder on yourself. You got to take advantage of the rules and the way the game is set up. I know you're a defensive coordinator and you think the defense is going to win everything. It's not the way it is in this league. It's not. I'm sorry. 25, 35 years ago, you could do it. Not anymore. Not anymore. This is a speed offensive league. And right now, the Bucs look slow. They look plodding on offense. They're predictable. And all of that, to me, goes to coaching and personnel. And because you got Cade Otton out there who's 10 times faster and a bigger target and better catch radius than Cam Brate, and you give him no targets and you give Cam Brate 5 targets, including 2 in crucial situations, asking him to catch the ball.
And what was the reasoning? What was the reasoning? We're just not on the field a lot. We just weren't on the field enough to give everybody targets.
He had 45 passes.
45 passes. And I'm hearing things that I've never heard a coach say.
No.
I have never heard a head coach or at any level say these things.
All right, let's do the next one. Can the Bucs turn it around on offense with 21 practices left?
Well, we have to. Number one, we've done it before, so
One game.
we have to get on the same page and stop making mistakes. We got to coach it better and play it better. There's no secret formula to getting this turned around the right way. We have to make plays. We have to call it right. We have to execute it the right way. We got to stop committing penalties. Obviously, it's a broken record at this point, but as coaches and players, that's what you go back to. You go back to your fundamentals and you play ball. That's all it is.
You said one game. Which game are you talking about?
Well, the Dallas game. Well, they only scored 19 points.
I just want to know. Like everybody was throwing
Maybe
a party.
The Seattle game.
Everybody's throwing a party about the Seattle game. They did everything. They played probably as well as they could have on offense this year. And what did it get them?
21 points.
21 points. 21 points. Think about that statement. They played as well as they possibly could have against Seattle, and they scored 21 points.
Because we're so shocked that it was more than 4. They scored 3 touchdowns.
3.
Wow. Man. And this will be a larger discussion after the season, but the bottom line is you are who you are. And you could talk about, we got to get on the same page. Get on the same page. You know what that takes? Practice. What did you do last week? You gave him the week off. Then an off week.
Yep.
You gave him the week off. You should have been out there 3 days. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the CBA allows, 3 days in the off week to practice. And we chose to practice how many days? 0? Yeah, because and you come out the next week with the bye week, and your execution is that bad, and you say we got to get on the same page. The only way you get on the same page is repetition and practice. And Tom Brady is the king of that. That's what he says all the time. We got to get better. We got to get better. We got better as the season goes along. And this team has not gotten better at all. Why is that? Because you're doing the same things. You're calling the same plays. You have the same coordinators, the same everything. Like you want to do that, you're going to get the same effing result. It's insane. But here we go. All right, here's he was asked about the defense not making plays late in games to close it out.
It's disappointing. Obviously, you want to be well in 2 minutes on defense. We've been well in the past. We have not been good this year several times, especially in the fourth quarter. The kid made a heck of a catch. I'll give him that one right there, but we should have been in place to do things to divert that catch because we knew what was coming. And we didn't do that. And we didn't do that a couple games earlier this year. They've been playing well for 3.5 quarters. The other part of the quarter, we haven't been playing so well. We got to close games out if we want to finish the season off right.
Well, again, look at the tape, bro. Look at your offense is going 3 and out all game long. You can't expect your defense to stop anybody late in the game when they've been out there for 39 minutes of regulation.
Yeah,
you can't.
39 minutes regulation.
This is basic observational stuff that you could see. Again, I invite you to go look at Akeem Hicks in the fourth quarter, especially and in the overtime. The dude was gassed. He missed half the season. He's 345 pounds. And Nacho's out there making play after play after play, but you keep sending Akeem Hicks out there who's gassed. That's why your team can't close out games, because they're gassed and they're injured because they've been on the field the whole time because your offense is so bad.
And your secondary, if I'm correct, you had Carlton Davis went out for a brief time with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Jamel Dean went out for a brief time with an injury. Antoine Winfield goes out to get checked out for a concussion,
right.
And then I think he's got some with his ankle now too.
Yeah.
Mike Edwards went out with an injury.
Again, observational. This is not the same defense you had in the first half.
Again, all this trust in this defense, and you got guys dropping like flies during the middle of the game. Your secondary, and by the way, the Browns are not.
We're going to put our whole faith in this defense. Yes. That we're playing our last corner and our last safety.
Yeah,
Steve Delaney and Zion McCullum are out there. And they're gassed, but we're going to put our faith in this defense instead of Tom Brady in 4th and 2, or Tom Brady with 1:08 and all he needs is a field goal. So this is a better chance to win with this group than that group.
So
think about that. Think about that.
Yeah. And so as your secondary is banged up, as your front seven is gassed, do you want to know who's on the other side of the football? This is not a good Browns team, but there are 2 elite players on that offense. Yeah. Nick Chubb, ever heard of him?
He's really good.
Maybe the best pure runner in the league.
Really good.
And Amari Cooper, one of the best route runners in the league.
Really good.
Did you think you're going to hold them down?
And by the way, Jacoby Brissett way better.
And Jacoby Brissett, by the way, has actually been playing some really good football in the past 5 games, and he played damn good in that one as well. Made the throws. And Njoku, by the way, is also a budding tight end. Yeah, Njoku's a budding tight end. Like, there's some players on there. You were sadly mistaking yourself if you really thought a banged up secondary and a big-ass front seven was going to hold the entire game.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself.
Every decision that he made in the fourth quarter was wrong. And I'm not saying you're going to make every decision. It's part of football, right? But every decision he made was wrong, provably wrong, analytically wrong, philosophically wrong. I mean, you can't be more wrong. And it's been this way all year long in terms of game management. If you can't manage a game on game day, you are a bad head coach. And this is why Todd Bowles has a losing record as a head coach. He is a great defensive coordinator, but when he has to manage a game, he's woefully terrible.
Yeah, and I hate it. I hate it because I don't think he's a head coach. I think this whole thing needs to last 1 year, and that's it, and he's gone.
Oh my God!
But here's the problem. Here's the thing I hate. He's a hell of a defensive coordinator, like you just said. If you were going through the annals of Bucs history, he's probably the second best defensive coordinator this franchise has ever had. It's probably not even close behind Monty Kiffin.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl. The defense was awful when he got here. He turned it into an elite group. I hate that he's the head coach now because I would love to see him back as the defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
But there's no turning back now. Once you fire him, you fire him, and that's it. This is a decision that is going to haunt this franchise for a long time.
Yep.
It really is.
About it. There's no question about it. All right. Did the defense wear down? This is another question. If you couldn't see it, well, what does the head coach think?
No, the defense has to get off the field no matter what. I think offensively, we weren't very good on third down at all, and we got the third down. We had a bunch of third and longs, at least 7+. There had to be 9 or 10 of them, and we probably were over when we did those things. And when we had third and short, at least we were almost 50-50. We might have been 2 or 5 at that point, but if you can't make third downs, you can't stay on the field. But the defense's job is to stop them no matter what. We don't make excuses trying to say the offense did this and the defense did that. We had plays on special teams, offense and defense, to win that ball game, and we didn't do it.
Okay, again, 1950s mentality. I don't care. The defense has to get off the field. But, Coach, we're down 4 starters in the secondary. Our defense is gassed. You can see that. They got a bigger offensive line. They're wearing us down. It doesn't matter. You got to get off the field. Come on. That's hubris. I get it. We're no matter what happens, no excuses. We got to get off the field. No, look at the game. This is what your head coach. You're watching the game. You know more football than me. You know more football than everybody, Todd Bowles. You can see what's going on here. You got to act on it. You can't let your pride get in the way of managing the game correctly. My defense has to get off the field no matter what. Sorry, they're gassed. They're injured. You're at a disadvantage at this point of the game. Might have been good earlier, and they haven't scored points, but they've been moving the ball. But you really think that's going to hold up the rest of the way? Especially when you got an offense that can help you out. Let them help. Stay on the field. Give your defense a break. Go for it on 4th and 2 from 37. Golly. All right, and the last question is something that is akin to who built the pyramids. What the hell's going on with Brady and Evans right now? What the hell is going on with Brady and Evans right now? Here's what the coach thinks.
It's a good question. Some of them were defensive calls. Some of them we just missed it here and there. We got to get that fixed. We got to get them back on the same page. That struggle, it showed up yesterday. Not saying it was anybody's fault, but it did show up yesterday, and it showed up a few games before that. We got to get that taken care of. That's crucial for our success.
Again, if you want to get on the same page, practice, reps, and you gave them a week off. I will never understand that. I will never understand that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to great questions and comments here today from you guys on the comment section. We love you guys when you comment. You can go on YouTube and do it, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere where our show is live, at FanStreamJP, at the JP Peterson Show. Just Google the JP Peterson Show, and you can get on there in a comment section, and we're going to put up your comments and read them next. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations, the best private investigation agency in all of Tampa Bay. You can reach them at emerginginv.com. Just give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. And by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you're injured in an accident or you have had your car totaled and didn't get the money you think you should have gotten, call Jeeves, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3. Stay with JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com And tell them JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
In the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigation and the Chief Law Group and Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Do your insurance checkup for the year. You could save thousands of dollars. Let them do the work, shopping or your insurance needs around, and then you save all the money. It's a no-brainer. It's Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. All right, our man JC Allen from the Pewter Report's got a couple of minutes here to join us. We got to get his great takes because I love the questions. So I know you have some takes on this game management issues for Todd Bowles. JC, good morning too. How you doing?
Doing well, guys. Busy month of November for me here, but man, when you look at this Bucs team, there's really no excuses for where they're sitting at record-wise, where they're sitting at, offensively. It's just become, quite pathetic to see what this offense has become under the leadership of Todd Bowles and under the coordination of Byron Leftwich. It's just, I'm at a loss of words for what I'm seeing out on the field every Sunday.
What did you think of the game management, though? Because, all those things you just said kind of manifested in those decisions that Todd Bowles made at every turn, punting at the 37 on 4th and 2, not calling timeout on defense, not calling timeout after the Rachaad White play when the Bucs got the ball back. All those things just say, I'm going to win on defense. I don't trust my offense. It is that just the main issue, that Todd Bowles is that much more defensive minded that it's ruined this team?
I don't necessarily know if it's that much more defensive minded, but I mean, he does make valid points, right? The offense wasn't playing well. They weren't converting on third downs. They were struggling to move the ball. They struggled all year. They struggled in the red zone. But I mean, I think that's just an egregious. It's an egregious error on his part to take that, delay of game penalty to back yourself up 5 yards and only get a 22 total, net yardage swing there. When you're already in their territory, it's 4th and 2. You've got to trust Tom Brady to throw to put the ball in his hands, that he's going to make the right decision and he's going to convert. They had already converted on a 4th and 1 earlier on a Tom Brady sneak. Every analytic says to go for it at that situation, especially when you have a chance to put the game away. Then the fact that he decided to double down on that, going back into that situation at the end of the game where they should have called timeout when the Browns had possession. They should have called timeout after Rachaad White, his 1 yard gain. The fact that he said that he didn't want Tom Brady, there could have been an interception there from a guy who literally has only thrown 2 interceptions in over 470 pass attempts. It's egregious. And the fact that he doubled down on that today, or yesterday rather, when he was asked, just shows his lack of courage or just cowardice. It's really, I get the defense has been playing lights out for the most part all season, but you still have Tom Brady at quarterback. This team is literally wasting what could be his final season with the way they're calling plays, with the way the plays are being sequenced. It's just egregious all the way around between Todd Bowles and his game management errors, which stem back from his time as a head coach of the Jets to what Byron Leftwich is doing as a play caller.
Yeah, let me dive down in that with you, because you have been really, I think, excellent in your questions that you've asked him in press conference, Byron Leftwich. And why do you see that the offense is so different from last year? What did Bruce Arians bring to the table that clearly is missing this year? I have my opinions. What's yours?
Well, a lot of people are going to look to the noticeable losses, right? They're going to say, oh, well, they don't have Gronk and AB as playmakers. Well, they don't have Ali Marpet and Ryan Jensen. With that, I say, I mean, look at what this offense still has. Look at the players on this that are on this offense still. Tom Brady's still at the helm. Robert Hainsey's played very well at center. Obviously, he's no Ryan Jensen. And Nick Leverett, who finally replaced Luke Gedeke, is no Ali Marpet. That's a given. But you still have playmakers all over the field. You have Leonard Fournette. Rachaad White has developed into a strong playmaker for this team. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones can make plays now that he's healthy. We saw him make plays on Sunday. We saw him make plays in Germany against Seattle. Cade Otton, who was a relative no-show, not to his part, but because Byron wasn't giving him play call. There's plenty of talent on this team. I think if you take any offensive coordinator around the league and switch out the coach, I think they'll find ways to get this offense moving. To me, it's Byron Leftwich. It's his stubbornness, and I don't know if it's coming from the top down, but his stubbornness to continue to be predictable, with his play calls. And while the Bucs in out of context are right on par with most teams running the ball on first down, if you take out those situations where they're behind, if you take out those situations when they're in obvious 2-minute drills and passing on first downs, they're one of the worst teams in the league. And they're one of the worst teams converting in the league. They have one of the worst rushing attacks in the league. When you consistently choose to run on first down in neutral situations, you're setting yourself up for second and long, third and long. And I think that 35-yard scamper by Rachaad White kind of put Byron, well, we can do that this time. We can do it again. And continue to go to it. It's first down run, second down screen, third and long. First down run, second down screen, third and long. The predictability of this offense, the ability for defenses to know what's coming and know that on first down, they're going to run the ball. Second down, we pin our ears back and go. Third down, we pin our ears back and go, has been a huge issue. It hasn't been so much of an issue with the offensive line. While they've had some of their struggles as well, it's been more of the situation where the defense knows what's coming. So it's making the offensive line's job more difficult. And you look at what the lack of help they decided to give Donovan Smith against Myles Garrett, who's one of the best edge rushers in the game. It's just mind-boggling. I don't know what the fix is other than Byron needs to go. And I don't know if there's anyone on the staff, but I think if you took any other offensive coordinator in this league and put him on this team, he'd figure out a way to get it going. I don't think it's as much as a chemistry issue between maybe Mike Evans and Tom Brady. I don't think it's more of as much as an execution issue. Well, there has been obviously plays that haven't been executed. I think it's the predictability of this offense. Team defenses know what's coming. They know what to be ready for, and it's allowing them to play one step ahead of the offense at all times.
Totally agree.
And you mentioned Mike Evans, and that's where I was going to come next, and kind of the miscommunications between them that we have seen and you mentioned the predictability, but is he not getting open? Is there something else going on with Mike Evans on the field right now? Because this is right now just not Mike Evans out there, and I think he's on a 7-game scoreless drought right now. So what do you see when you watch the tape of why Mike Evans is just not winning these matchups? Does it really just come down to predictability?
Well, I mean, Mike Evans can still do some things and still get open. Obviously, we saw that. We saw 2, passes that were thrown to him that Brady kind of sailed over him. Give credit where credit's due. Martin Emerson did a great job in coverage against him as well. But yeah, I mean, Mike Evans at this point, the way they've utilized him in the offense, the teams just know what is coming. And like I said, it's harder to develop those deeper routes when you're in 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and teams are able to send their rushers. They're able to put someone over the top of Evans and kind of clamp him down with their cornerback and safety pairing. So, I mean, and then you look at later in the game, there was a play that it looked like Mike Evans pulled up, and now, no one's ever one to question Evans and his effort at all. But, it's getting to the point where guys are frustrated, and we even heard after that Panthers game, Evans said, it took him time to reset after he dropped that pass. I think most of this stuff is mental right now, and the fact that the offense is so putrid and the play calling and sequencing. It's more sequencing than play calling. Yeah. It's both, but it's more sequencing. The way they're running the ball on first down, the way that they're utilizing the screen, all those issues are adding up, and it's causing frustration, lack of confidence in the offense, lack of faith in their offensive coordinator, et cetera, et cetera. So all these things are adding up, and it's leading to an offense that cannot gain momentum, cannot sustain momentum, and really is floundering when they have the talent all over the place to really be one of the top units in the league, and we're just not seeing that. I mean, again, you can make the cases that the losses on the offense, on the line, and the playmakers have been part of the issue, but I don't think it's as big as a part of the issue as people want to make it seem.
Hey, I know you got to go, so give me your 1-minute fix for this offense. What would you do if you're the Glazers, if you're Todd Bowles, anybody in charge, Jason Light, anyone, Bueller, step up, do something different? What would you do?
At this point in the season, you're not firing Byron Leftwich. You're letting it roll out. And then you're reassessing. Is Brady back next year? You probably lose Julio Jones. What do you do with Leonard Fournette? Ryan Jensen's probably going to be back. Who's going to be that left? There's so many question marks. You're negative $47 million in the cap. So you're going to have to either restructure people or cut players. And there's just so many question marks. The fix this season is just do more of what you're well at and no huddle, hurry up, passing on first down, and getting into that rhythm and putting the ball in Tom Brady's hands and letting him do what he does best. Yeah. I get he's a 45-year-old quarterback. You want to limit his passes. You want to keep him healthy. But at this point in time, the division sucks is the only reason why you're still in there. Right. If the division was any better, you guys would already be playing, for the offseason. So to turn this around, you've got the greatest of all time. He knows what to do when certain looks are coming. Let him run the offense. It's not going to happen, but he's got to have a bigger say in what they're doing on a game week in and week out basis, especially on game day. Because as of right now, it's just not, it's not looking good.
All right, JC, appreciate your time. Tell everybody where they can find your content. You guys got another Pewter Report podcast coming up tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, sir. So JC Allen NFL on Twitter, and pewterreport.com. You can find all my work there.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
guys. Have a good one.
JC Allen right there. Let me get some of the comments here. Jordan Gamillion had a lot to say today. No accountability on this team like under BA, from the coaching staff all the way down to the ball boy. Does there need to be accountability there? Is he not doing his job? I agree. And by the way, this I would fix it if I'm the Glazers and I'm paying all this money, especially to Bruce Arians, who's as I've been told, not involved in this offense at all. I have a meeting with everybody, and I say, I own this team. Bruce, you're now in charge of the offense, and everything you say goes. You guys got to listen to him. Go get your big fat red pen, whatever you were doing the last couple of years, because you are now in charge of the offense and you are in charge of game management. And you don't have to. You can sit in the booth. You can sit in a bunker. You want to be on the field. You're on the field. I don't care what people think. I'm paying for this stuff, and I'm the boss. And this ain't working. So I'm going to make a change. I don't sit here and just completely do the same thing.
Honestly,
no way.
It's not even. It wouldn't.
I know you have to fire Byron Leftwich. You got all the guys in the building that were there last year. You need different responsibilities, and that's what I do. I say, Todd, you're still the head coach, but everybody, this is your job now, Bruce. You're game managing, and although his game management wasn't great either, but at times. But it was certainly better than what we got now. That's what
it wouldn't even be like in the top 10 of the strangest things that I've seen this season.
Yeah, exactly.
It really wouldn't. Like
and it doesn't even have to be very public.
No,
he needs to just show up on the sideline in a headset, and people can ask, "Well, what was Bruce doing today?" Oh, he was just listening. Yeah, I mean, you lie to us all the time. Like
last night, like I said, we just saw an ESPN analyst as a head coach.
Right.
I think everything's on the table at this. I mean, come on.
What are we doing? What are we doing here? And like bringing back a Super Bowl winning coach is some crazy idea, who's sitting in the building anyway and has been there all year. I mean, listen. Whether you want to say Brady nudged him out or forced him out, whatever it is, I don't care. Or it's something magnanimous that Bruce did. I think it's a little bit of all of it, to be quite honest. That's been my feeling. But I know how to fix it. I know I'm going to continue to do the same thing the rest of the season. Going in there on a bye week and continuing to do the same things is just ridiculous, completely ridiculous. T. Corral says Sue is showing up for the Eagles. Light got GM greedy and wanted to show off his picks. JTS is not good, and Logan, who on the defensive line, I saw Logan make a couple of plays, but he's not been much of a factor this year.
He's a defensive tackle. That's a hard position to come in the league and be a contributor right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe F says again, it's not like we have a crazy lockdown D. It's just bad coaching all year. Bad coaching, never adapts and adjusts during the game. Horrible play calling and bad clock management. Yep, absolutely. T. Corral says the biggest problem on D is no JPP, no Sue, no dogs on the defensive side. JPP was hurt, but he's doing okay for the Ravens, holding the edge. Not like JTS. They ran right at him. Yeah, they run right at him every week. He takes outside leverage. You saw an adjustment that was made on that one counter play where they were pulling the center and the tackle, I believe. And JTS was just rushing upfield. He finally took on a blocker and stuffed the play. And then they had Vita Vea come in and stuff and not get washed down like every other defensive tackle was getting washed down. And so they made an adjustment, and that was good. But it took way too long.
I wouldn't say it's the biggest issue with this defense, though. I think the biggest defense is their inability to take the ball away.
But that's the result. But what's the why? What's the why?
Yeah.
Why are they not doing it?
Yeah, but they're just not putting themselves in those situations.
Well, JPP, first of all, is a great edge rusher and swipes and gets the ball. That's he's one of the best.
I get it. I get it.
long.
But Jason Pierre-Paul's 34 years old and he went unsigned for a long time.
No, I get it.
Sue's 36 or whatever, went unsigned for a long time.
But that's a piece that we had that we don't have. JTS is not good at that. And Shaq Barrett was better, and we don't have Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, Shaq Barrett was really good at stopping the run on the edge.
And he was good at getting the ball out.
But honestly, though, I thought Anthony Nelson played really well against Cleveland. And I thought he has been playing pretty well, him and Nassib in that rotation. So even then, I don't think the loss of Shaq Barrett has had a massive impact like we thought it would. I mean, would you agree with that?
The Shaq Barrett had a massive impact this year?
The loss of him, because I feel like Nelson and Nassib, that tandem has actually flashed at times.
No, they got 4 sacks in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're not ripping the ball out.
No, they're just not doing those things to take the ball away.
Right. And usually when you get pressure, that produces turnovers. T. Corral asked, what's the secrecy regarding Jensen? Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something that I haven't said on this program. Ryan Jensen was seen at a local club, you can fill in it, playing golf. So he's out playing golf. Not that he shouldn't be playing golf, but Ryan Jensen is ready to come back. I don't know if he's, game healthy yet. Obviously playing golf and playing center in the NFL are two totally different things, but he's been working. And as I postulated months and months ago, what I thought happened to him, because they were so secret about his, is that he had a partial tear of one of the ligaments, and they were using stem cells to get it to repair it and see if that worked. That's something that is being used across the medical community with great effect to repair these tendons. And like guys are coming back from injuries. Look at Godwin coming back from the ACL way earlier. So guys are coming back way earlier because the stem cell rejuvenation that it literally repairs the tissue. I had it done. It takes the torn ligament and repairs it itself, but using your own stem cells. So this is not a common practice for NFL players, but I think it's something that the Bucs thought was worth trying, because they did the same thing with Vita Vea, and it worked to great effect and will help win the Super Bowl. So I think Ryan Jensen is on the cusp of coming back. Problem is, Ryan Jensen and Robert Hainsey is not the issue right now. Yes, you want to be more stout in the middle, and that'll allow him to step up, but that has nothing to do with the sequencing, has nothing to do with the game management, has nothing to do with the game plan.
Yeah. I 100% agree with what JC said there. This comes down to play sequencing and just the runs on first down and just in ridiculous spots. I just don't think adding any players at this point really even changes any of that. And like you said, I think Robert Hainsey has held his own. Nick Leverett has held his own. I haven't heard Shaq Mason's on the call, or I haven't heard Shaq Mason's name on the TV broadcast in like 3 weeks, and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the strengths of the team right now. Yeah,
it's just and thank you guys for the comments, by the way. We love putting them up there. So yeah, always go to YouTube, Facebook, and also Twitter, and you can comment right there. We'll get your comments on.
What's the game plan against the Saints?
See that it's Tuesday, so we're not going to talk too much about the Saints. But I got to tell you this: are you kidding me? Well, here comes one of the best rushing teams in the league, and we got no Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you that Cam Jordan is going to take every single snap on Josh Wells. He could take it on Donovan Smith if he wants to as well. It really doesn't even matter, because Donovan Smith is putting some horrendous tape out there also.
It's bad. It's really bad right now.
I mean, really I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack because it's Myles Garrett, and he held him at bay for probably 3/4 of that game. But in the fourth quarter and overtime, not a shot. No shot there. No shot. And that's on the coaching staff for not helping him out either.
And, helping them out. They rushed 3 against 6 many times in that fourth quarter, and they got 2 sacks, 3 against 6. Well, so that's plenty of help. That's plenty of help.
True.
That's plenty of help. You got to be better. You guys got to be better. And we haven't talked a whole lot about this, but Brady is a huge part of the issue in terms of his stationary ability. And again, you need to coach around that. We've seen him do it the last 2 years. Brady hasn't fallen off. I heard somebody saying something about his arm strength, on the Hail Mary. You're silly.
A Hail Mary?
Yeah, well, first of all,
who gives a crap? It's a Hail Mary.
You only threw it 45 yards. You know why you only threw it 45 yards? Because that's all he needed to throw it. And you want the ball up in the air.
The ball landed in the end zone.
Duh.
Cares?
Oh, well, if you could throw it 65, he throws it out of the end zone.
No,
Idiot. He threw it 45 because you want it to land right at like 2 yards into the goal line, and that's where you want the ball. I mean, my God, I have a little clue about what's going on here. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into a little bit of college football and USA playing Iran today. We got a really good soundbite that I want to play, and Brian Bradley's going to join us at 11:15 to talk some Bolts. Big win last night for the Lightning. Coming back from 2 goals down with 6 minutes to play. How about that? Steven Stamkos. So we'll talk to Brad's at 11:15 and TJ Rives at 11:35. Lots to come at the 11 o'clock hour. So much more here on the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center for testosterone replacement, and the Jeeves Law Group, JEVES lawgroup.com. Stay with us.
Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're going to do some USA soccer here right now and also do a little coaching carousel for college football. But first, I want to remind you, folks, it's that time of year to renew your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 844-310-9961. These folks will help you navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 in 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Folks, this is not true. Make the call. I did it a few years ago, and I've been had great success with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I got Florida Blue. You can choose your plan with the health insurance marketplace, folks. It's not like they give you Medicaid or Medicare or something like that. You choose your plan. I'm paying $50 a month for Florida Blue, which saves me about $600 a month. And it all depends on your income and your family situation, how many kids you got, how many need to be covered, all those things. So it's a free call. Call 844-310-9961. Why would you go without health insurance? And this is another thing, folks. If your employer pays for your health insurance, quote, pays for it, and they're taking money out of your check, well, call up and find out what subsidy you can get from the health insurance marketplace. It may be cheaper than what your employer paid plan gets you and a better plan. So do a little research, get better coverage for your family for less money. You got to find out what the number is, right? And you don't have to do the work. They do the work. So call 844-310-9961. That's 844-310-9961. Tell them JP Peterson sent you and let them do all the work. Have some information available of your income and whatnot, and just find out. It's a free call. Why not do this? Figure it out. 844-310-9961. All right, so USA today, 2:00, my friend, against Iran. And we've got all this political bull crap going on. There was a tweet that was put out. It wasn't the right flag. So the Iranian people are going bananas. And so much of yesterday's press conference, you were telling me you watched it, was about politics. And it's just like nobody asking about the freaking game.
Yeah, we got like
It's
the Iranian press was in this kind of media scrum, and they were asking questions like about naval ships and like things going on in the USA and here in this country, and just all these different things. And like Greg Berhalter is having to like answer them, and the players are having to answer them. And I found there was this one clip here that was being talked about yesterday, and this is from the captain of the U.S. men's national team, Tyler Adams, who's been sensational through the first 2 games. And this was an exchange that he had with an Iranian reporter, and I thought he handled himself here with
and he's one
pretty
of our
well.
African American players.
Yes.
You say you support the Iranian people, but you're pronouncing our country's name wrong. Our country is named Iran, not Iran. Please, once and for all, let's get this clear. Second of all, are you okay to be representing a country that has so much discrimination against Black people in its own borders? And we saw the Black Lives Matter movement over the past few years.
My apologies on the mispronunciation of your country. Yeah, that being said, there's discrimination everywhere you go. One thing that I've learned, especially from living abroad in the past years and having to fit in different cultures, is that in the U.S. we're continuing to make progress every single day. I grew up in a white family with obviously an African American heritage and background as well. So I had a little bit of different cultures, and I was very, very easily able to assimilate in different cultures. So not everyone has that ease and the ability to do that, and obviously it takes longer to understand. And through education, I think it's super important. Like you just educated me now on the pronunciation of your country. So it's a process. I think as long as you see progress, that's the most important thing.
What a great answer. What a great answer. And that's deplorable by that particular media member. That wasn't a question. That's not a press. This is not a platform for you to get your political views out there. Sorry, this is the World Cup. This is a press conference. There's no place for that type of question, in my opinion. And I think he handled it really, really well. And that's one of the things that, you want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and all those other things. There's long discussions that need to be had. And this is not the time or the place. But for an Iranian journalist to talk about lack of freedoms in America, you got to be absolutely kidding me. This is a country that just voted in their parliament to execute 15,000 protesters. All right. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But again, back to the game, win and you're in.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a bunch of scenarios here, like 6 or 7 of them. All you need to know is that any of them without the U.S. winning, they will go home.
Yes.
That's really all it comes down to. Win and you're in. And to do that, they've got to score more goals. I mean, they've got 1 goal through 2 games,
right.
1 goal, and they've allowed 1 goal.
Yeah.
And it was a penalty. If this game ends in like a draw or something, like 0-0, and the U.S. goes home losing on a penalty, and that's it, I mean, just how brutal would that be?
This goes to game management again, right?
Yeah.
Berhalter,
yeah.
You got to put players in there that are strikers.
Yep.
That are going to give you a chance to score goals.
And you're going to have, in this game, you're probably going to have majority of the possession like you did in the Wells game, but you've got to be able to score more goals than you have in the last 2 games. You have to. And, you asked me, do you think Giovanni Reyna is going to get in the lineup? How do you, I can't even, I have no idea what Greg Berhalter is thinking. There's a lot of managers in this World Cup. There's a lot of great players who are just sitting on the bench right now, and it makes no sense. It's no different with the U.S. team. And he started this guy Haji Wright last game, who has I think a handful of international appearances, and was a shock to make the roster. And then all of a sudden, he's starting at striker for this game against England. So, and he didn't really make much of an impact. So I have no idea what Greg Berhalter is going to do today.
He better be aggressive because Iran is going to play for the tie, play for the draw because they get through. So they're going to pack it in, and you've got to go forward. You got to go forward. You can't worry. You can't play scared.
Yeah.
Don't worry. With England, I can see you playing a little bit more defensive.
And they didn't even really do it
because their counterattack is so lethal. But come on, against Iran, which England scored 6 goals against them. Let's go.
Yeah, you're the better team.
You're the better team. Force the play. Let's go. I can't wait to watch this at 2:00. All All right, and quickly on college football, Hugh Freeze comes home to Auburn, comes home to the SEC. Most, as Scott Van Pelt said last night, it's the most SEC thing ever to do. Look, I mean, we could talk about all the the investigation at Ole Miss and things that happened at Liberty. The bottom line in the SEC, which I'm sure Gruden will be there soon, it doesn't matter.
The morals are not there.
Win games. And Auburn, I just laugh at because they're just.
This is a disaster waiting to happen.
No,
I could feel it.
It is.
I could feel it.
It's such a disaster waiting to happen. But it's a good place for him to go because he'll be able to do whatever the hell he wants to do.
There's a thing
and
in
he's
his
a good football coach.
There's
He's
a thing
good
in his
football coach.
contract where he had to give up running his social media accounts to take the job. Like the Kyler Murray clause is back or something.
When you got to start there.
I mean, come on. This is a hostile place to coach. I mean,
hey, get your popcorn ready, Brady. Get your popcorn ready.
I do find it funny though. Like he terrorized Nick Saban. What 2014, 2015 they beat Alabama and cost Alabama some postseason success those years.
Yeah.
And here he is back now at the big rival at Auburn. And he feels like he never should have been let go at Ole Miss. Obviously,
right.
He thought he'd had some more tenure there, but I mean, scandal has followed him everywhere. It has followed him everywhere. And Auburn, on the heels of a reported scandal with Brian Harsin, if you believe any of that, goes and hires another coach that's going through scandals. I can't make any sense of it. And didn't Auburn also fire Terry Bowden for something pretty along the lines?
Yes.
And he was actually really successful at Auburn too, correct?
Yes.
It's interesting.
You got to be careful of
it's interesting.
Boosters' daughters or whatever. No, allegedly. Yeah, but that's such the SEC thing to do. Like that's the SEC. It's the Wild Wild West. Anything goes. It's why Jimbo wanted to go there. It's why coaches want to go there because there's no checks and balances. You do whatever the hell you want to do. It's where it is. And as far as USF goes, folks, I wish I could tell you I had an idea of what's happening with that, but all I can tell you is it's John Gruden did not pass muster. They did not feel comfortable in pursuing him. There was a meeting, but it just wasn't going forward. Deion's not taking a job. I don't think. I would be shocked if he did. He's going to have so many better opportunities than USF. No offense. I think Jamie Chadwell at Coastal Carolina, same thing. But there's word that Michael Kelly's waiting for someone to get done coaching in a conference championship game. So I don't know who that is. Could be South Alabama.
Jeremy Chadwell.
South Alabama. Who's his name is. Escaping me. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
There's too much conflicting reports right now. I'm seeing like multiple different people who cover the team that are putting things out here. And one thing says they have their guy. The other one says a final decision has not been made. Just seems like there's a lot of moving parts because of openings, conference title games, and things like that. Now the December 5th timeline is still in play, but in general, and maybe I'm asking too much of college football. In fact, I know I am. Probably need to institute something to where we're not having to hire coaches during when they're trying to conference championship games.
Yeah, they got to get rid of the early signing period first and foremost because of the coaching changes. It creates a artificial deadline and the portal thing as well. They got to get their calendar.
Because I truly think it's going to be Jeremy Chadwell. It seems like everybody kind of has the sense that he's the guy, and they're just kind of waiting for him to wrap up this weekend.
That'd be great.
And I mean,
great hire.
It would be a great hire. I mean, doing a lot with little at Coastal Carolina and come here,
that's a home run hire.
I think it'd be a home run hire.
One of my great sources just told me that USF has decided on a coach. So they've decided on it. We just don't know who it is.
Yeah, we're all just kind of waiting right now. But for them to put that thing out yesterday, my goodness.
Yeah, the official USF Athletics tweeting out, what was it? Is it a good day to name a head coach? Or y'all
Who's ready to know who the next head coach is?
Yeah. And then there's nothing.
Everybody's just refreshing all day for nothing. It's terrible.
All right, quick break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us, and we'll talk some hockey. Last night, big win for the Lightning coming back from 5-3 down. It wasn't the way John Cooper wants him to play. That's for damn sure. We'll hear from Brian Bradley when we come back. Stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life. Tampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you're been involved in an accident, you got to get an attorney. Why not get the best in the group? Jeeves Law Group, they focus on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator, practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. And folks, insurance companies do not like dealing with him because he is a badass and he will get you what you need. So have somebody advocating for you that is aggressive and will get you what you need. And that is Scott Jeeves. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com, jeeveslawgroup.com, or call 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Brian Bradley, former Lightning All-Star, their first and leading scorer in those many years. What's up, Brads? How you doing, buddy? Nice game last night, huh?
Good, JP. Wow. Great game. I mean, you know what? I don't know what it is. We go to Buffalo. We always seem to find a way to win. And, you know, we did it last night again. I mean, down 5-3 in the last, 5 minutes of the game. And then we tie it up. And, Stamkos scores a great goal in overtime to win the game. I think it's 13th overtime goal in history. And you know what? What has he got? 998 points, 2 away from 1,000, 7 or 8 away from 500 goals. I mean, unbelievable right now.
Yeah, and his resurgence the last couple of years, Brads. I mean, when you were, 33 now, 32, 33, 15 years in. What was it like for you when those older days to play at this level?
Well, it's Steven, after I can't say enough about him, captain, I won 2 Stanley Cups as a captain, but he's just been he's had some really tough injuries with ribs in his shin and all kinds of stuff. And then you think he's going to be done, and he keeps coming back. He keeps battling back, you know what I mean, all the time. So it's great to see. And you know what, great goal in overtime. And you know what, Hagel from Kucherov. Kucherov had 3 or 4 points again, and Stamkos gets the one to make it 5-4, and then we tie it up from Hagel. But I can't say enough about Stamkos. I mean, he's been terrific. You know what I mean? And Braden pointed a couple of goals. Right. I mean, you know what? I thought goaltending. I thought Elliott played good. Yeah. I mean, but he's giving a lot of shots up high. You know, I mean, they're shooting high on him all the time. And you know what? They're going in down low. He's been unbelievable. But he got another win. What's his record now? 5-1.
5-1. He's won 5 in a row. 5 in a row. How about that? And he's played really
made some great saves, you know. But you know, like I said, you know, he's there to back up Vasilevsky. I mean, you know, big win last night. His record's 5-1, which for a backup goalie would take every single time with Vazzy in net. But you know, great win yesterday. I mean, we just always seem to find a way in Buffalo. And you know, the guy I'd like to see get going more is, you know, Hedman needs to step up a bit more. I mean, he just doesn't look like himself to me.
Yeah.
Like he just looks, he's not jumping in the play. You know, he just doesn't look like the Victor Hedman of old, honestly. I think he's played okay to me, in my opinion.
You think he's injured? You think there's something going on with him health-wise?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what, JP, I'm not really sure, but he's definitely not jumping in the play too often. He's sitting back a lot, so maybe his shoulder's not where it needs to be, but he's playing through it. But at the end of the day, you know, Victor Hedman's a huge piece of the puzzle, like Vasilevsky. And we're going into Boston. Boston hasn't lost at home this year, so tonight's going to be a tough game. The Bruins are on fire. I mean, they look good. They got all the pieces of the puzzle, but at the end of the day, you know, we got to come out with a big win here, and you know what? You know, we got to knock the Bruins, you know, out of their home winning streak here.
Yeah, and I think we all want to see a better performance than what we saw from the Lightning against Boston last week, where I think the Lightning gave them all they could handle in the first period, and they were able to only give up one goal, and then from there it was all Bruins. But, you know, given what's been going on with this team this year, obviously breaking in new parts, Vasilevsky not at his best. You just mentioned Hedman not at his best. And here the Lightning sit. They're 13-7-1. They're one of 5 teams in the Eastern Conference over 500, just one of 5 teams. So with all that new change and guys underperforming, I think we can say that everybody's kind of saying that this is it for the Lightning. Like their window is closed. I tend to think you probably think not, correct?
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't agree. I mean, you know what? They haven't played their best hockey. Like I think, you know what? They started off slow. They've been getting better and better. But like you talked about, I mean, Hedman's been okay. Vazzy's been average. I mean, today, big game. We're playing in Boston. Boston's 18-3, and they haven't lost at home. And the Bruins look good. Like you talked about, you know, that we played them last week. We were winning 1-0, dominated the game, and then come out of the period, I think 1-1, and in the second period, third period, like maybe we played good in the third period, but Boston really cranked it up, and we didn't have any answers for that. We did not look good in the second period. We were like, you know, it was just not. It was probably our worst period of the year, that second period against the Bruins at home.
I would agree with that, and I think this is going to get this team's attention tonight. They get to go in there and spoil what is a record-setting performance for Boston. They've won 12 in a row, as you mentioned, at home. I love when this team gets its dander up, so to speak. And Braden Point has now had two goal games in a row. We were talking about him last week, maybe not being at his best, and boy, he has shown up just in time. It seems like every time you say that about Brian, somebody they pick up their game. So you need to start talking about that more. And he's been fantastic. So this team, I mean, I know they gave up 5 last night, but I don't know. I think we're going to see the best of the Lightning tonight. What do you expect?
Yeah, you know what? Like you said, JP, I mean, you know, tonight's a huge game. I mean, you know what? Anytime you play a top team in the NHL like Boston, 18-3, everybody's going to be up for it. I know we played last night and they didn't play, so the guys are used to that. We got a lot of veteran guys in the team that played back-to-backs before, but you know what? I like Braden Point. Last night he scored his first goal. He went to the net, drove to the net, cut in. Got hit. You know, the second goal was a great feed by Kucherov right in the top corner, but the Point's playing good. You know, Kucherov's on fire like usual. I mean, I'd like to see some other guys get a goal. Like Corey Perry had a goal, his first goal since October. We need a little secondary scoring. You can't rely on 3 guys all the time. You know, we got to get Ross Colton back into play. We got to get some of the young kids scoring some goals. You know, Corn got to chip in like he is a little bit here with 6 goals and stuff. But, you know, we got to get some other guys stepping up and scoring some big goals for us. Like Hagel's played really well. I mean, I thought that line last night was really good again. Hagel, Kucherov, and Point. I thought Stamkos' line was okay. He scored a couple goals. But, you know, Nemestikov, some of these other guys got to step up and, you know, get a couple goals here. Because you know what? The Bruins are going to be watching, you know, Point, Kucherov, Stamkos. They know who the guys are. Let's not kid ourselves, just like we knew who Bergeron and Pasternak and Marchand are. So, they're gonna be physical, and we got to be ready to go, and maybe get a couple chip-in goals by somebody else.
Well, I hope that's the case, my friend. It's going to be one hell of a game tonight. I cannot wait to watch it. And then the Lightning will return, I believe, Sunday is their next home game. So cannot wait. All right, Brad, it's good stuff, my man. Have a great day. We'll be watching tonight.
You betcha, JP. Have a great day. Go Bolts. See you, man.
Go
Over and out.
Bolts. All righty. Brian Bradley right there for Lightning tonight. I believe that's a 7 o'clock puck drop.
Yep.
That on Bally's. Ooh, cannot wait. It's going to be fun tonight. Something to watch after. So we got the soccer game at 2.
Yep.
And I just can't get away from it. I just got a text. I have to do some confirming on this, but if this is true, I've got some legwork to do on this, and I don't think I'm going to get it done before the show. But if this is true, and USF has their coach, which I do believe they do have their coach, and we're waiting for a championship game this week, there are 2 that have been names have been surfaced and have been vetted. I know they've been vetted, and that's Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina and one prime time Deion Sanders. I just don't think he would take the job. I mean, I would say this. He could wait and take another Power 5. I don't think he's going to get the Power 5 job he wants in this cycle. It's not. It just hasn't worked out that way. So if he's done with Jackson State, and after a year where they could not get clean drinking water in the city of Jackson, I would think that maybe he's upped his timetable of moving. And it would make sense, and we've talked about Deion in this regard. It would make sense in that, he's got there's so much to work with here as opposed to Jackson State. And it would be that intermediate step to then go to the Power 5. And the possibilities here are incredible for him. So, all right, let's bring in our guy, TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy, but also did the Iron Bowl this past weekend, Alabama and Auburn, my friend. How was that in your travels? Good morning to you.
Listen, always good to be with you. And now you got me hanging on what's the USF move. What a tease you are on a Tuesday late in the show here that you got. I realize in a live show, you can't exactly try to chase down whether this is correct or incorrect. Are you saying they're going to make a hire announcement imminently, like later today? Or are you saying it's got to play out for championship weekend, no matter who the name is? Give me a little more on that. We got to wait.
It's got to, they're not going to announce until December 5th, and they don't want to screw it up. So, but we've been talking about these guys for weeks. Who are the main guys, and I just didn't think Deion would be in play because I think he'd get other opportunities for Power 5. And Colorado is a Power 5, but it's not one of those jobs. And they've never had the support since 1990 when they won their title. So that just didn't seem like it to me. Auburn wasn't going to do it, and I guess nothing else really came out. So
interesting.
I mean, Jamie Chadwell would be a tremendous hire, but I believe, again, that he's going to have a much better Power 5 opportunity than USF. And when you make that jump, you better make it count. When you had to, how it works in college football, right? You get up to that point at Coastal Carolina or those mid majors, and then you get that one shot, and if you fail, it's hard to get back in the mix. It's hard to get back to the mix. So it better be somewhere where you can either succeed there and move on, or, you could pop to the next thing. So.
And you asked me about the Iron Bowl and obviously the Cadillac Williams interim coaching situation, and they fought hard. Alabama was just better. And now we talked during that broadcast that the word everywhere was that Hugh Freeze was going to take the job, that he was being offered the job. And so now that's a very interesting situation because there's backlash against him for previous problems. There's backlash for the Liberty University controversies. He was engaging a very outspoken woman who's a former Liberty student who was sexually assaulted, and she is on behalf of several organizations about the athletic director at Liberty, about Hugh Freeze. She's been after him, and Hugh Freeze was sending her messages saying, why are you just continuing to knock us on and knock me on social media what are you doing? You're a former Liberty student. I've tried to clean up my act. I'm paraphrasing here. So that's out there. And then Auburn goes ahead and makes the hire. They say they vetted everything. They said they've taken away control of his social media, by the way. He's no longer in charge of it. So he can't DM anybody else that's criticizing him. So that whole thing is Auburn announced that like last night that they've taken control of all of his social media on that, except the burner phone and the burner account. And he better keep Cadillac Williams. I'll tell you this. He better keep Cadillac Williams around because Cadillac's got those guys enthused. It was fun to watch them compete. Cadillac's been doing the recruiting, JP, for the past 2 or 3 weeks for Auburn. So he would be foolish, as we said last week on the show, to not keep him. So there you go in the Iron Bowl. And is Alabama going to find their way into the playoff mix? They've got to have help. They have to have a couple of losses probably this weekend by the likes of TCU, USC to open the door. But they are Alabama. We'll see if
their way in. They're going to back
if they find their way in.
They're going to back.
I mean, we know that if Georgia and Michigan and TCU win, that's 3 of the spots locked up no matter what. Okay, so those are guarantees. But if USC loses and they now have a second loss, so now you're comparing USC, and this is again supposing that LSU doesn't pull the upset. This is supposing that Purdue, without their quarterback, they're not going to beat Michigan because the quarterback is away. I don't know if you've seen this awful situation where Aiden O'Connell is the quarterback. His brother, they announced his brother died, so he's maybe not even going to play in the game. And TCU is likely going to rock and roll in the Big 12 title game early on in the day. So those 3 are probably in. So now if USC loses, that's a 2-loss team. You've got Tennessee sitting there with 2 losses, not in a title game. Alabama with 2 losses, not in a title game. Clemson with 2 losses already in a title game. What do you do for the 4th team? Very valid question. What do you do?
FSU, they're playing really well. I move them right.
Go Seminoles. You had a big-time weekend. I saw it on social media. You got a Knowles win. You got Thanksgiving. You had the kids and everybody around. It
was fantastic.
Big time.
To me, my family, my kids are everything.
There you go.
FSU football is a close second, so to combine them both and then
there we go.
And beat the Gators. I mean, this is a good weekend. I was
happy Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving weekend was tremendous right up until the 4th and 10 play to David Njoku, which was about 15 feet in front of me. I mean, I am so ready to do the happy post-game show. You get the last stop. You've won 3 games in a row. You're looking good. And I literally go like this from Brissett to Njoku right in front of me. He caught that. And then the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking up like this at the video board on the goal line going, did he get his feet in? Because I get one look at it live, and clearly his feet are in. And I really thought they were going to go for 2 as we segue to the Buccaneer talk, because there were a couple of offensive linemen holding up 2 fingers, go, let's go for 2 and go for the win, because you're giving Brady the ball anyway for a field goal to beat you. Yes. Why don't you try to take the lead right now? And they didn't do that. It was interesting. They were playing for overtime. And then as it turns out, the Buccaneers were sort of playing for overtime, as it turns out. And unfortunately, there we go with an overtime loss that kind of put a downer on things. But hey, we're on to Tuesday, and we're already starting to look ahead. I know you've been hashing through all of this before I came on the show.
The coaching mistakes. We've beaten that dead horse.
Do you have any uplifting messages for us today? Because I got very angry during the first half of our show talking, and I've calmed down finally. Yeah. I'm a sad Bucs fan right now.
Here's a very uplifting message for you. Still in first place, still with a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback at the controls, and a chance to win Monday and be 6-6 and really in charge of the division for the final 5 games here. That's the only thing. I mean, that's the mantra. That's the message now. You can't control what just happened 2 days ago. You can now control what happens next. And I still have trust and belief here in what Tom Brady can do. Question marks for the offensive line. But it's not as if you're 2 games behind. You're not saying this, Nick, but it's not as if you're 2 games behind in the division. And how are you going to make up 2 games here in the last 6? Exactly. You're up a game. And if you win this home game with a bad Saints team, let's say again, it's a bad Saints team. I know they've had the Buccaneers number, but to quote Rick Pitino from back about 20 years ago, Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Drew Brees ain't walking through that door to fix them. Sean Payton is not walking through that Raymond James Stadium visiting tunnel to fix them. So do what you have to do, put that team away, get back to 6-6. And now with 5 games left, you're going to have a couple of games advantage on Atlanta and New Orleans to maybe get into the playoffs as the division winner. That's what we can hope for. There's a little uplift on a Tuesday.
All right, let me just ask you this. What do you see on, from your vantage point? Because you see the guys coming off the field, offense, a lot, usually after those 3 plays. And you see their body. Sorry.
Too many times in the second half. I went over it in the second half. You got the touchdown to O'Keefe in the third quarter. And then I believe the 4 possessions after that were 3 plays, 5 plays, 3 plays, and 3 plays.
Yes.
Let me do the quick math. That's 14 plays on 4 possessions.
Yeah.
And you wonder why Cleveland finally took advantage of you giving them the ball. Right back.
What?
But go ahead. Continue on.
What do you see? Are there conversations going on the sideline? I mean, we haven't seen any confrontations, but are they just mystified? Are they just sitting there going, "We don't know what the hell's going on"? Are they pissed? Or is there frustration? What do you see?
Yeah, there was some of that, especially in the fourth quarter of the game, especially from the offense. Now, the defense was doing its job up until the final drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, the offense was upset. There was one point where Brady was upset with the receivers about a route where somebody was confused. But I again say this to you. I mean, in TB12, we trust. We do say that. But he's 45 years of age. And maybe we're starting to see signs that we've been playing with house money last year and this year that eventually Father Time catches up with everybody. Because I'm here to testify, because it was right in front of me. I'm standing on about the 30-yard line looking right at Mike Evans toast that defensive back in front of the Buccaneer bench. And I'm like, this is the ball game. My 4 words, the game is over. If that ball is catchable, he's beaten the DB, the game is over. And that's the same play he beat Jalen Ramsey with in the Rams playoff game, and the ball's not there. And later on in the overtime, there's a 3rd down play. I'm not being overly critical. I'm just pointing this out where Mike Evans comes back to the ball. He's open, and the ball is 5 yards short in the dirt. So some of it is the throws have got to be made when there are opportunities.
On that play, he did not step up in the pocket. He had a great chance to step up in an open pocket and make a good throw, and instead he fell backwards and threw it off his back foot. He's usually really good at stepping up in that situation because Leverett had kicked the guy out had kicked Garrett out with Donovan Smith. All he had to do was step up, and he had a clean pocket to throw, and he went backwards, which is weird. And these things just they keep happening and keep happening. So defensively, they kept having to go back out on the field. It looked like to me on the TV copy, the guys were gassed. I mean, plus, Winfield got injured. Edwards got injured. You had an injured secondary. Zion McCullum was out there. D. Delaney was out there. Akeem Hicks was not even coming off the ball. He was so gassed and tired. Did you see a tired defense in that fourth quarter?
Some on the final drive, especially because they had been out there for a while. And that's not excuse making. They had just been out there for a while. And this is an important point, too, for the end with that drive and for the overtime. It began to rain some more with the wind blowing around. The field became a little more slick, and that should favor the offense. Now, in fairness, the Bucs got the ball twice in overtime and had a chance on the same conditions to push the Browns back, and you go 3 and out both times, one of them with a penalty, one of them with a holding penalty, with Myles Garrett beating Donovan Smith over and over again in the fourth quarter and overtime. Yes, a frustrating set of circumstances. The real key, just one more time to go back to Sunday, is you couldn't get that second score that you've been talking about to go up 20-10 or 24-10. Then the game's over. And that goes back to adjusting to the adjustments, play calling. I'm big on this too. Keep watching this team on second down, where over and over again, there's nothing going on second down, and you're facing 3rd and long because you don't get something or go get a first down. On second down, you get a penalty, you get a sack, you get a run for a 2-yard loss that keeps putting you from behind. They were bad over and over again on second down in the second half of the game on Sunday. But again, all of that being said, find a way to regroup. The Wirfs loss hurts. So now you got a week where you got to scheme. If it's Josh Wells over there at right tackle, you got to scheme some on him trying to block those guys, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, if he lines up over there, whoever else they line up over there. Be ready to block those guys with an extra tight end, with a back. You've got to set that up in the scheme and be ready because you can't go 5 or 6 days here knowing that Wirfs is not going to play and then just depend on Josh Wells to over and over again one-on-one block somebody like Wirfs. He's not Tristan Wirfs. You've got to adjust. You've got to, and I think they will. I think they will. You will see some of that. whether you're throwing screens that way, whether you're running draw plays that way to help him because you get too upfield trying to pass rush and you vacate that area. Let's see if Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles and company take advantage of that.
Well, they didn't do that with the Rams last year when they didn't have Tristan Wirfs in that Rams game. They let Josh Wells out there pretty much on an island, and it did not go well. And I don't expect it to go well this time if they try the same thing. So let's hope.
Are you trying to put me in a bad mood on a Tuesday further? I'm trying to uplift.
I know.
Nick asked me to uplift. I'm trying to uplift.
No, chill over
but we'll
there.
see.
All right. What do you got for today's U.S.-Iran game? What do you got?
I got panic button. I mean, especially, I mean, why not? They feel the pressure. The Iranians don't have any pressure in this situation. They would love nothing better. Well, yeah, but they would love nothing better than to take down the great Satan with a tie. That's what they called us in 98. I still remember that. Was Nick on the planet in 98? I'm not sure. In 98, when they beat us, they kept talking about defeating the great Satan. So they've got a great chance to do it again. They are motivated, and we shall see. You better get an early goal because the longer this goes on, tied, nothing, you start to press, whatever. So go get the early goal. We'll have fun watching this, but for all the talk about the soccer, about the national team being improved and look how much better they've been. Well, now you got to demonstrate that. You got to go put, dare I say, 2 or 3 goals on the Iranians and win the game and move on to the knockout round.
Well, I mean, England scored 6. I mean, can we get 3? Can we get more than 1? Can we get 2 or 3?
And am I correct? A win only, not goal differential. A win only does it, or is there some factor if Wales beats England? If Wales beats England, is there a tiebreaker thing or no?
No, every tiebreaker goes to Iran in this scenario, or to Wales.
So a draw, you don't go.
So as long as you win, you don't have to worry about those tiebreakers.
Winner, you're in. You're all good. All right, my friend. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving as well. There, I know you were
did
all over the place, and I can't believe you even got to Cleveland. To be quite honest, it's quite an accomplishment.
I scrambled to get there to stand in the. It didn't rain the whole time, but stand in the rain in the fourth quarter and overtime. And I guess it's give and take. I understand because the Rams game, they probably did not have any business winning at the very end, but Brady got the second chance, remember, and you won that game. So now the football gods take one back, one that you probably should have won. The Browns took it. And that Njoku catch again, guys, I was right on line with it on the goal line, probably about 15, 20 yards of actual distance away from it. Incredible catch. That's what the NFL is all about. So you tip your hat to the Browns and now you move on. I know this, if the Buccaneers do not attain a division win and do not get there, they're going to look at obviously Pittsburgh, Carolina, Cleveland, beatable teams, bad teams that you didn't take advantage of. You got to be your own best friend right now and start winning games. And by the way, let me say again, New Orleans is a bad team. They're bad. Take advantage of it Monday night.
But they won't tank against the Bucs. They hate them too much. Too much emotion involved. So
well, let's see what happens.
All right. Well, we got a Monday night game at home. Let's go have some fun with it. And we'll see you certainly on Monday.
All right, my friend. USA in the soccer. Good to be with you, boys.
You might want to listen to the rest of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about USF here.
Oh, please do. I'm still here. I'm listening.
Well, you don't have to go anywhere. So I'm trying to confirm here as I speak with you with some folks if Deion Sanders was.
Are you like typing 2 initials to people and hitting send? I do that all the time.
Yes. So if Deion Sanders was on campus this morning, and evidently he was seen at a nearby airport. If Deion,
interesting.
Right, I'll just ask you. I'll just if you've been in this market a long time. You've seen a lot of great people come through here. Professional athletes, coaches, like big personalities. If Deion Sanders becomes the coach of USF, where does that rank in terms of star power of people that have been in our sports?
Fair to say, and I'll give you a reference point.
In my head, I'm going top 5.
Okay, I would say biggest one, save for John Gruden coming to the Buccaneers in 2002. John Gruden in the trade in the middle of the night from the Raiders, that's got to be up there as 1.
Yep.
This would probably be 2 if it's Deion. But I understand what you said. I like all that this situation has to offer. But why does he come to the American Conference when he may have a shot at an SEC job at some point, a shot at a Big 12 job at some point? That'd be the counterpoint.
I don't.
Well, yeah, probably not this year.
I know. Yeah, and I think that 1 year in the city of Jackson with no drinking water and the deplorable conditions of that place, he may just be like, all right, this is enough. I can't do this anymore. I got to jump. And this would be a great, next move because you can't do worse. You're going to do better. You're going to be a conquering hero. He's close to where he grew up, the state of Florida, which he knows really well. You got a Super Bowl stadium that you could fill up conceivably, and he probably would. Can you imagine him marketing like all around Tampa and recruiting, walking into Jesuit High School, walking into IMG? Can you imagine what this does to
Sure.
USF if it happens?
But on the JP smell test, what's it smell like right now on a Tuesday? 5 minutes left in the show.
I said, it's no way. Why would he come here? Like, why? But now as things, I thought Georgia Tech would be a good fit for him. Atlanta, great recruiting market, big time metro.
Certainly bigger budget in the ACC, bigger budget, bigger revenue, right?
I thought, I think Auburn boosters just would never do it. They would lose control, and they can't have that. They have to have somebody they can control.
Are you saying that Deion would not cede his control of his social media to Auburn? Continue on, my friend.
No. And I thought maybe if the Ole Miss job came open, he'd slide in there after Lane. He's obviously not far away. So that would be, but that's not happening anymore. So what's left for him? He doesn't want to. Colorado's worse than USF in my opinion in terms of tough jobs. So what's left for him? USF, where he can pop in for a couple of years, win 2 conference championships, and then he has his pick of the job. And if you're a USF fan, you're like, well, I don't want him for 2 years. Shut the hell up. Shut the F up.
You've won 1 game against the FBS in 3 seasons. Is that right?
Yeah. I said, if he comes here for 30 minutes and he's your coach, it's worth it. I mean, it literally, you are so irrelevant, and you'd be irrelevant for half an hour, and that's better. So, yeah, I mean, if he comes here for 1 year, 2 years, 3, whatever, it puts you on the map. My God.
Agreed. So do you go along with me other than the Gruden hire in 2002?
I can't think
this one's probably second. Would there be another one?
In terms of star power,
right?
Somebody, Stamkos getting drafted, but he was still.
But if you're talking about coach hire, if you're talking about coach
star
hire,
player, I'm talking about a star player coming to this market or a star coach.
But Brady coming here as a player. That's the iconic one. But I'm talking about a coach hire, a managerial hire by the Rays, a coach hire by the Lightning, a coach hire by USF in football or basketball.
Hired by the Bucks. Yeah.
I think it's Gruden 1 and a potential Deion Sanders would be 2. Great topic. Great topic on what would be bigger than that.
All right.
I don't know.
I got your experience on that, and I agree with you. You're the best. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
You guys be well. Happy rest of the Tuesday.
Go get your Bulls season tickets before they're all gone. I am not reporting that Deion's going to be the next coach, but now there is some serious chatter. And as I just detailed, circumstances have dictated if he's going to move now, this would be his best landing spot. You come here, it's the house that, remember, we're already 2 stadiums done in Atlanta from the house that Deion built. The house that Deion built on USF campus. Major market. I
think it's a good fit, honestly, when you put it like that.
I think USF.
I think it's a much better fit than a lot of people think.
Whatever money they're paying him,
But but then again, though, I still think it's going to be Chadwell. I still think it's going to be Chadwell. And by the way, I don't want USF fans to have a meltdown if it's Chadwell, because it's not fair to him, because he's a really good coach and he's done things he's done things at Coastal Carolina that no other coach has ever done, right? And he's a very good coach. So he's got a lot more experience than Deion Sanders. Now, he's not going to recruit like Deion Sanders would, no doubt about it. But again, the AAC next year, go take a look at it. Go take a look at it.
It's his.
Go look at the teams that USF is playing at home next year, by the way. I mean, they should have a much more talented roster next year, whoever the coach is.
And he can stick it to FSU and take their recruits, and Miami and Florida. It's not a good, I tell you what, it's not a good, it would not be a good thing for FSU or Florida or Miami or UCF.
I thought you were going to throw an even before UCF, because that's how you do things now. Apparently,
I slight them with that.
No, you refuse to put the best team in the state as in the Big Four in the state, which is very disrespectful of you.
So listen, I can confirm that Deion has been vetted by USF, and I can confirm that they've met with him. No question about it. Whether I cannot confirm yet that he was at the airport today. I cannot confirm that he was on campus, but I'm also told that there was a lot of security on campus today. Because, Jamie Chadwell can slip in and slip out of here. Nobody would know. You can't hide Prime. You can't. This is the way he walks, because he walks with a limp now. The way he walks, the way he carries himself, just the bling alone is the giveaway. So you can't hide Prime if he was here, and there's chatter that he was here. So, but that doesn't mean the deal is done. But we do have confirmation. Kevin O'Donnell also has confirmation at Fox 13 that they have selected their coach. So if he was on campus today to get the contract signed, and then so we're really confident that they have their coach, and that coach is probably coaching at a conference championship game this week, and then will be announced after that. Deion fits all that.
Yeah. So who is Jacksonville State? Jackson State? Are they playing? They're not playing FAMU, are they?
No.
So Willie Simmons is then basically out of the running.
FAMU's in the MEAC.
So then Willie Simmons would be out of the running then.
Was FAMU playing for the MEAC championship? I don't. They were 9-3 this year, I think.
I don't believe so.
So I think it's either Chadwell or Deion.
Yep. And if you're a USF fan, you got to be thrilled with that.
Absolutely. 100%. Either one of those is a home run hire. And clearly, Deion brings something that's just – Deion brings everything that Gruden would have brought, but –
with no baggage.
But as a proven college coach, a proven head coach in college. He might bring Travis Hunter with him, too. What do you think about that? And I think you would also see Max Johnson and Jake Johnson, too. There would be a good chance of that happening. So we shall see. Keep your eye on our social media today, folks, because we got a lot of work to do today. Let's see what's going on with this. All right. Our thanks to JC Allen for the Pewter Report that joined us today, Brian Bradley, and the great TJ Rives as well. So if you missed anything, our first 45 minutes on the Bowles press conference, I think, was big time money. So go check that out. You can watch us on Twitter. You can watch us on YouTube. Please subscribe there and comment each and every day. We love your interaction. We appreciate you guys with that. You can always watch us at FanStream JP and at FanStreamSports.com. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Is this the day that you get a new coach, USF? We shall see. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a great day.